Salt beef or corned beef out in the States is one of those things, if you're a meat eater, you know, it's a real treat. Slapping it in a bagel with a bit of mustard is one of those things that I think most people would really enjoy and look forward to. So we're going to be making it today. Now, what you might not know is that it actually takes about a week to make salt beef. Okay, and that is because we're going to be brining it in an intense salt solution, and that's why it's called corned beef in America, because of the term for the salting process out there. Okay, and that's how it got corned beef. Now, it's not to be confused with the corned beef in the UK, which we've been more familiar with, which is a canned product. It's like a fairly mushy pressed meat that's fairly different. Okay, we're talking about salt beef. Okay, and this is popular all around the world. And I can remember the first time I went to New York City and I had ordered a sandwich, and the amount of meat that was in this sandwich I actually could not believe. So we're going to be creating one of those sandwiches today, and at the end of the video I'm going to be talking about some of the tips and tricks to enhance it and enhance what you've actually got. So it's well worth getting through to the end, where we talk about those little bits and pieces that I forgot to discuss and show throughout the video. But there's a lot to go through, but it is so super simple. Just follow the steps and leave it, and you'll see when we jump across how easy. So let's cook. Cheers, buddy. So this is the shopping list that you're going to need. You're going to need salt, 300 grams, brown sugar, 200 grams. You need this strange curing salt, which is called Prague powder. You can find it on Amazon or anywhere really, but it's basically a salt that's got some sodium nitrate. It sounds scary, but you know, it's what you need to ensure you get the pink inside of the beef. So you're going to need some thyme, you're going to need bay leaf, you're going to need some ground ginger, star anise, you're going to need some coriander seeds, mustard seeds, juniper berries, some black peppercorns, and you know, can't forget the old garlic. So heat up the pan and toast those seeds. Just chuck them in there, heat it up until they start to crack and sizzle, you know, really spinning around the room, and then you need to smash these up. Now, you know, obviously you can use a pestle and mortar, or you can try and smash them up in a jar by putting on the lid and giving a bit of a shake. You know, does a similar job, but obviously not as good as a pestle and mortar. So pour in your 4 litres of filtered water into the pan and start heating it up. Pour in your brown sugar, your salt, and that magical Prague powder. Now you only need a couple of teaspoons really. I think I put in a little bit too much there, but 2 teaspoons should be enough. Then followed by your spice mixture. Don't forget to put in the dried spices, the ones that you didn't toast, you know, ground ginger, and your bay leaves and thyme and all this other good stuff that's going to add mad flavour to your beef. Give it that good old mix and bring to a boil. You know, you want that really boiling so it's all completely dissolved. Obviously the herbs and spices are not going to dissolve, but all the sugar, the salt, all that's dissolved. It's all coming together. You can see how dark it actually is now. It's a completely different animal. So you can see I'm just chucking in a couple of halved garlic, and I let that cool. I completely let that cool before pouring it into my plastic tub. You know, I don't want boiling water, boiling substance in there. You know, make sure you get all of the, you know, the little bits and pieces that obviously gets in there, because they're going to continue to flavour this liquid when we put in the meat. So now take your meat. Now I've used a 1.5 kilogram slab of beef brisket here. Not a bad little piece there. I mean, I don't think it was that well tied up, but c'est la vie. Now what you want to do is you're going to want to really stab this. So get something spiky and sharp and poke. I'm not going to say it. You know, just stab it all over. And the purpose of this is so that once it's submerged in our liquid, it's going to be able to really penetrate. So make sure you go all over. You can see I'm really hitting the sides there. You know, I really don't want to anywhere to miss out. Then grab your tub of the liquid that you have created and put your beef in. So as I'm going to mention a few times here, I could have done with using a tub that was slightly smaller so that the meat would have been fully submerged, but I tackled that by turning it around a number of times over the first couple of hours. You know, so you're going to chuck this in the fridge and it's going to have to stay there for a week, good old week. Now this is one of the times where I took it out. And what you're going to want to do is you just want to mix it about. You can see how dark not only the liquid but that the meat has changed color as well on the outside. So as I say, because it wasn't fully submerged, every couple of hours I gave it a turn so that it was in the liquid. It wasn't outside for too long. But after a couple of days, you know, it already started to do its magic, so it was, you know, more than capable. But I would recommend using, you know, I could have used a tub that was, you know, a third of the size smaller. Would have been better, but you know, we live and learn. So take it out of the tub once you're ready to go, the 7 days, and give it a good old wash. You know, all the bits and pieces, you know, so it's nice and clean, and then throw it into a suitable pan. And this is a cool little pan actually. This is cast aluminium, and it's got a lid that will make all the droplets recirculate, and I've used it a few times. It is really, really cool. So once it's in the pan, you're going to want to top up your pan with some filtered water, and then that's it. A lot of people throw in other stuff, carrots and celery and whatever, but to be honest, it's had so much flavour on it, you know, I don't think it needs it personally. So bring it to a boil and then put it on a low heat. Give it a bit of a stir, and then you're going to leave it to cook for, you know, the best part of 2.5 hours. It seems crazy, doesn't it? But we're doing low and slow, so put that lid on and forget about it for a good hour. You know, every now and again, take the lid off, make sure it doesn't spill everywhere, like I'm about to do just in a brief second. Wait for it and wait for the laugh. Oops, what a disaster. But every now and again, give it a bit of a turn, you know, so it's not in the same place. Throw the lid back on, and then, you know, after a good 2.5 hours, you'll be able to know that this is cooked all the way through. You know, you're going to get your fork, you're going to stick it in there, and you're going to be able to tell, because it's going to slip off without any problem whatsoever. Obviously, remember to do this in the middle section. You can see it's a little bit slower there, so not completely done. So let's put it back. See, you can see, right, there you go. So now it's ready. I think we've taken off the lid. You can see that lid that's got those perforations on it. Really does a great job. You can see the water has started, it's absorbed into the meat and it has evaporated as well. You can see that the meat has actually shrunk slightly. Hasn't shrunk too much though. You know, I'm not sure what the mathematics on it, but it has shrunk a little bit, but there's still a massive piece. So let's get the fork. It should just go in and out. I can see just from the fact it's going in. Look how easy that's just fallen off by the weight of it. So that is ready to go. So let's take it out of the pan onto the chopping board for the next disaster, which was attempting to carve this bad boy. So now it's on the board, you can see it does look, you know, a fair bit smaller. Now I started putting away the butcher's string. I'm not sure whether that was the right decision to do or not, because once I started carving it, it was a disaster. I actually think it was my knife wasn't sharp enough. I think I might have selected the wrong one, but you know, poor workman always blames his tools. C'est la vie. So we've got the, you know, you can see how pink that is. So it looks good. It's just that I made a right hash of trying to chop it up. You know, you live and learn. But off camera, I managed to, you know, get some nice chunky bits to make my lunch. And you can see that we've got a couple of bagels there. And I am cherry picking, you know, some lovely bits of salt beef there. Really, you know, nice generous amount. And then we're getting the English mustard there. I'm going for English mustard this time, and I'm just pouring it straight on. Again, I think I probably should have pasted that onto the bagel, but you know, we did it that way. And we are going to put that together, and then we're going to pull this up to the camera and look at the sight of that. Wowzers, that looks super good, super tasty. Let's give it a taste before I get too hungry. Over a week in the making, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good. That is great. Let's have a taste of some of the meat here. Look at the textures on that. I don't know if the camera will focus on it, probably won't. Maybe you can look at that and you can see that it's retained the red colour, which is what we wanted. That's why we used the curing salt. The spices that we put in runs right through it. You can really taste it in every single bite. I'm actually really, you know, really impressed with what we were able to achieve here. Before you serve your salt beef, what you should always do is dunk it in these juices. This is what I didn't do with the bagel that I just ate, because obviously I was setting it out before recording the video, and we got the meat that was not dunked. Dunk it in the water for about 2 or 3 minutes, throw it. I just wanted to talk about a few things that we didn't discuss throughout the video, and the first one was, I may have mentioned it or I may have cut it, we'll see. Okay, when I plated up the bagel, what I didn't do was I didn't dunk the meat in the cooking juices before serving. Okay, and that makes a hell of a difference. If you're going to be making this, if you're going to be making your sandwiches with the leftovers the following day, what I would recommend is that you save that cooking juice. You save that, that is golden. And then what I would do is I would just warm it through. I would lightly warm the sliced meat in the cooking juice, because that is just going to take it to the next level. Without it, you know, it's going to be getting a little bit dry. So you want to keep as much moisture as possible, and that's how you do it. Okay, so the next thing I would say is make sure that you submerge your meat in the brine completely. Now what I did is I made enough brine, and then I used a tub that was a lot bigger than a piece of meat, and therefore the brine didn't cover it completely. And what I did was I was regularly turning it over and over again every couple of hours, particularly in the first day or so it would just be constantly submerged. Use a more suitable tub, then it is going to be fully submerged. Okay, the third thing, once you have completely brined the meat, you're going to have a vessel, a tub or whatever, with your brine meat, with the liquid and all of the spices and bits and bobs. Now we need to clean, we need to just wash that off of the meat. What I would recommend is don't pour that down a sink. because you're going to have a lot of bits and pieces. You're going to have all that star anise, all those peppercorns, all those bits and pieces. They're just going to go in your sink, and that is no good for anyone, is it? So don't do that. Make the cleaning up a lot easier. Strain it off, chuck all the bits off, and you are good to go. So that's it. I just wanted to add those few extra tips. I may speak about these through the course of the video, but I thought they were important for you guys. So take care. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how yours went, and I'll see you real soon for another recipe.